Before we begin tonight's conversation, I do want to give a real trigger warning because tonight's episode is going to focus on mental health, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, suicide ideation, and sexual coercion. So, if you've ever experienced any of these or have been a victim, you may get triggered during this episode. So, if you do experience any of these, I do ask that you step away, take care of yourself, listen to your body, and breathe. Pause when your body is saying that it's too much. Because the space that we're creating, soulmates, is a space for us to hold truth, but also to protect our peace and to create a safe space to talk about things that we're not talking about, things that we need to share in order to help heal the collective. Because there were seasons in my life that I didn't even know I was allowed to communicate, to speak my truth, or even to let go. Because every time I would love, I would get used, taken for granted. I've been abused, played with. And then I started to think maybe it was me. Maybe loving was the issue. Maybe I was the issue. Maybe just loving me was an issue. Maybe being loyal, having a big heart was the problem. Maybe I was just weak because I was such a lover. But that was never the truth. And just because I'm a healer and just because I'm a lover doesn't mean that I'm here to fix other people who don't want to grow, who don't want to help themselves. And just because you love deep soulmates, it doesn't mean that anybody gets to take advantage of that or shut you down. And being a woman doesn't mean that we have to sacrifice our peace, our happiness, our joy for anybody or to be chosen. I had to unlearn this, all of this. And part of that unlearning is this: telling the truth, speaking my truth has been my power, has been my saving grace. Even though it's been extremely uncomfortable to speak my truth, it's been very healing, very much necessary for other people that have been in my shoes, for women like Cassie, for women like myself that have been survivors of mental, emotional, sexual, physical abuse. Speaking my truth about suicide and about abuse, about mental health, and about everything I tried to hide in silence has helped me reclaim myself. It has saved my life. So again, soulmates, if this conversation is feeling heavy, because it will be, please know it's a reason why. Because we're making make sense. We're trying to make sense of the things that we are not talking about. And if this sounds like your story, then please know you have a safe space here. I want you to stay with us. And please feel free to comment in the comments, soulmate, share your stories or reach out privately. Because tonight, what we're doing, we're not just going to hold back. Like, we're talking about a celebrity situation. We're talking about Diddy and Cassie, but this is bigger than that. It is. It's just because he's a celebrity and because of his money and his status that now we are going to expose and start to shed light to the victim perpetrator story, or the narcissist empath story, is like I like to call it.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. I appreciate you doing that because so many people needed to hear that. And
thank you.
Yeah. So as we dive into this touchy subject, where to begin?
Hey, soulmates.
Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome to Make It Make Sense.
And as I usually say, here we are once again talking about the things that you should be talking about, but we're going to talk about it. But here's a twist to this one. Today we're talking about something that you are already talking about a lot on social media, but we need to be on one accord on this one. So here we go.
I try not to look at any of the comments. I try not to look at anything on social media about it. But every now and then I hop on there and I see something.
Yeah, I've seen some of the comments. And I try not to look at it too, but I had to turn away. I have to be honest, because I saw too many opposite opinions. And I really think this is something that us as a people should be on one accord with. Some things we should just learn to agree that wrong is wrong.
Right.
And
right is right. And it doesn't matter. There is no justification for physically harming or hurting someone,
right,
sexually, mentally, emotionally. There is no justification for hurting people, period. This is what I've been talking about from the moment we started this. And this just goes back to what I've been saying from the very beginning. There is a shift going on right now in this world. What's happening right now is supposed to happen right now. This is just a reflection of everything that happened in 2017 when a certain somebody was in office.
Okay.
And the Me Too movement got started. Remember, soulmates, I told you, don't be surprised if more movements are started this time. There's a reason why. There's a collective shift happening. The divine feminine is rising. The victim perpetrator story is no more. We're reclaiming back our power by speaking our truth. Cassie telling her story is her opportunity to heal and to reclaim back her power. She could have easily held this story in for the rest of her life, and this man could do this to another person. Right. So kudos to Cassie and prayers to her and her strength for having to survive this. And for anybody that want to come for me for saying that, I am saying that because what that man did to her on those tapes, I don't care. I don't care what she agreed to do. She did not sign up for that.
No, the thing is, though, an interesting part of this entire story is that it's not new.
It's not.
We keep seeing these same cycles of whether it's a celebrity or not. We see the same types of issues where you have someone in power or has money, and all of a sudden they're getting away with this type of behavior for years. Like their relationship lasted, 11 years? 10, 11 years.
10, yeah.
Right. But all of a sudden now it's starting to come out. Now we're having a trial. Same thing with everybody else, the Bill Cosby's, all the rest of them.
R. Kelly's, right.
Right. It happens for years. We hear about it. We don't do anything about it until the media decides we want to do something about it.
Now it's a big deal.
Right.
It's funny because we know their situation. And that was happening in the 60s. Nobody said a thing back then.
Right.
I'm glad we're talking about it now because let's just talk about this is half the reason why this type of dynamic has gone on for so long because nobody said anything back then.
But it took a movie for us to start talking about
that part.
Right.
So again, it takes people speaking their truth for things to change. This is why we had Make It Make Sense.
Right.
So make it make sense, soulmates, that just because somebody's rich or famous, they get away with doing this. Just because they have power makes it okay for them to manipulate and control somebody?
It's not okay. But I think there's a two-way street on this. Mm-hmm. What I mean is we have to get people to stop abusing power, but we also we also need to somehow teach victims to learn to no longer be in position to be victims. Learn to get out sooner. Mm-hmm. Learn to feel your situation.
True, but
if you can, but maybe that's something. Go ahead.
I will say that as somebody who has been in Cassie's shoes, it's not that easy when you're in it.
Right.
Like I've lived that same emotional confusion, and I was older than Cassie. I've dealt with it as a teenager and even as an adult. And I was in a relationship like that.
Okay.
When I thought somebody was helping me. So Cassie thought this man was helping her reach her dream goals of being a successful pop star.
Right.
And I was in a similar situation. He was saying he was helping support me. He was going to help with my book, help with my brand, help me build this business. Saying he believed in my story. He even prayed with me.
Right.
Saying he was going to help build me, right?
Okay. Right.
But behind the scenes, I find out he's a whole different person, a narcissist. He's a liar. He's still married. He basically was using my vulnerability to make himself feel more powerful. He knew my entire story. He knew my suicide attempt. He knew the things that I had to endure. And
knew the weaknesses to attack.
That part.
I got you.
And for someone like Cassie, who was super young, very immature, And this is the Diddy. So, of course, she's thinking she's living the dream come true.
Right.
But then behind closed doors, it's like, wait, who are you? And why are you like this?
So what can we do as a culture to empower women to be proactive?
They have to know their worth.
Okay.
They have to know their worth, number one. Because for me, I did not know my worth. It took a tower moment. It took something drastic for me to finally see I deserve more than this. Because even though this man kept playing with me, it became very codependent. Mm-hmm. And I know that's how Cassie felt, because he was providing a lifestyle for her. So when you're dependent on somebody for that and they know you are, they start to breadcrumb you. If you do this, I won't give you that, as if you're a child.
Right.
And I remember thinking, like, why is he talking to me like this? Like, who does that? Make this make sense. And then back in December, when this very traumatic event happened where he thought it was okay for him to take advantage of my body while I was not cognizant and aware enough, because I was on muscle relaxers from pain in my shoulder, that he decided to just penetrate me without my consent, without me being fully aware. And then when I ask you about it, you don't even acknowledge it. You don't even accept accountability. And that's the part that really bugs me. And this is why I say the people that are trying to justify the Cassie Diddy thing, you don't understand what that feels like, because narcissists, that's what they do. Sex is something that they use as a weapon, as power.
Right. Now, unfortunately, we have a defense team who's been assigned to defend him, and they're coming up with all type of excuses and reasons and explanations for his behavior. One thing I heard is they went through some text messages between the two, and it was an instance where he had beat her, and she sent a text message saying something like every time you get fucked up or whatever, you end up trying to beat on me and blah 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 and blah blah blah. And then immediately after that, it kind of seemed like the conversation changed. Like obviously they made up or whatever. And so the defense is using that to say, well, it's just part of their relationship. It's just something they're used to. They go back and forth like this.
It's a trauma bond.
And now they're saying LOLs in the text right afterwards, and it's okay.
It's a trauma bond. It goes back to what I said before. It's a trauma bond. They didn't even address the issue. You're going to laugh and kiki because now his energy is better. So as long as he's feeling good, then he's okay. We're going to be okay. I can get him to calm down. He won't be that way again. That's what that looks like.
Okay. Another line of defense was, recently I just heard that now they're trying to say that maybe he's bipolar. And that's an explanation for his erratic behavior or whatever. And what's that supposed to do? How is that an explanation?
It's not.
For
I had to pause.
Yeah, take a breath.
I felt a lot because we are not going to play with, first of all, we're not going to play with mental health. We're not going to play with these labels. Because like I said, I felt like I was misdiagnosed as bipolar. So now he's about to play the bipolar card. It's not a justification. It's not a justification, because right is right and wrong is wrong. And any rational, sane man knows that it's wrong to put your hand on a woman. You know that. And then disrespect her when she's walking away. That girl didn't do anything to that man. That has nothing to do with bipolar.
But even if that is the case, if he does suffer from bipolar disease or whatever, at what point do you decide, okay, I'm putting myself in position to hurt somebody that I'm in a relationship with? Now, do I step back and handle my issue? Like, when do you become accountable? Because that's, and you are, how old is this man? 55.
Okay, you've been on this earth long enough. If you've been bipolar, you just finding this out? No, you've always been this way. Because let me be honest, I always knew something was wrong with that man. I never liked Diddy. It was something about his energy. I always felt like he was super arrogant.
Jumping in everybody's video, right?
That's the narcissism for you. Absolutely.
Right.
So for you to try to say that is saying what? Take accountability for your health, King. This is my point when I said on the last episode, when do we talk about these things? Now here we are. Oh, he's bipolar. So this girl was in this relationship with this man for 10, 11 years, and he's been bipolar all this time, and nobody knew.
And nobody's correcting the problem.
And nobody's fixing it.
Right. How do you fix it?
And let's just also get to the point of domestic violence. Okay. Because what people don't understand is women or people that are in domestic violence, because it's not just women, that have been in domestic violence situations, there's a repeat pattern. 1 in 4 women in the U.S. alone experience physical violence by their partners. And only 34% actually seek help.
Okay.
So those that actually leave their partners, 70 times are more likely to actually be killed in the weeks after leaving. So imagine that.
Wait, go back to that.
Being afraid to leave. If you leave, you will lose your life. I've heard of women being killed by exes or being almost shot at. I just, matter of fact, heard a lady recently that survived being shot 10 times. So it's a lot. That's why it's not easy to just walk away, because there's a lot involved.
Wow.
And the thing with narcissists, they're very charming. They use that to disarm you, right? To get safe, to make you feel comfortable.
In order to be prone to that type of behavior, I think you have to be charming in order for someone to even
open up and trust you.
Right, trust you, accept it, make excuses for it if it continues, and
absolutely,
they have to have a reason to stick around.
They do, and then they weaponize your empathy, because narcissists attract empaths like a moth to a flame. They use guilt to keep you confused, and then they'll use sex as a way to reassert control. Like I said, it happened to me, and that's very sick. And it made me think about before, why are we having sex? You use sex as a weapon. Sex is a sacred, beautiful thing. It's a gift from God that God gave us, and we've been misusing it, abusing it, and manipulating it for centuries. And this is disgusting. And this is why young girls get trafficked day after day, because in somebody's sane mind, they think that the woman's vagina is a business. God didn't create the divine feminine to be a sex. She's not a piece of meat. It's so disgusting, and it's sad that in 2025, we're sitting here having this conversation.
Yeah. Now, one thing about Diddy is, so it's not just about abusing women. There's men involved in this. Media is not talking much about that part, but he's been sick all the way around.
Absolutely. That's the thing with people with power, narcissists. Think about prehistoric, early 1400s. What did they do? They always demasculate, take their manhood as a form of power, as a form of control, as a form of manipulation. And y'all sick tails, you still doing that in 2025. Make it make sense, soulmates. That's disgusting. Yeah. But then they want to talk about the LGBTQ community and what the Bible says. But then you do stuff like this to manipulate and control people. Make it make sense.
Now, I kind of feel like the media is, speaking of LGBTQ, I think the media is protecting that particular...
Why?
What?
What do you mean protecting it?
I think they're protecting the community so that we don't use these types of stories to attack that community.
It's not about attacking a community. It's about attacking the individual. It's not even attacking. It's about attacking the issue.
It's not about it. But I feel that sometimes there is that agenda to be sure that we don't.
You think that's what it is? I don't even think it's that.
The reason I say that is because otherwise we would be talking about how he abused male prostitutes. We would be talking about how he groomed young boys from like Justin Bieber.
I think they're doing that to cover his ego. I think that's an ego thing. I think that's a divine masculine trying to hide the fact that
probably
they have been demasculated and they have done things that they're ashamed and embarrassed of. That's what I think that is. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think that's just a man trying to cover up his ego.
Well, it's not just him alone. It's
a whole team. I know.
I say that because the way the entire media is approaching the situation. Like, we're not talking about what he did to young children, young boys. We just stuck on this one story, this one Cassie story, because it's cool to talk about that apparently. And you know what I'm saying? We go through this cycle every few years.
Why is that cool? Because for me, I guess I just don't understand. When did it become women against men? As the divine masculine, I thought your role was to protect the divine feminine. So why would you want to harm another woman? What rational, sane person of God creatures, God's children would want to harm another one of God's children in that manner? So for me, it's deeper than being bipolar. That's a spiritual disconnection. That's the devil within him that's showing up.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to face his demons.
Now, notice shortly before we started talking all this, before all these cases came up, Diddy was talking about renaming his record label to God Music and calling himself Brother Love or all that type of stuff. He talking about God all the time. He quickly got into
and
that.
I couldn't understand what that meant. This wasn't too long ago.
I know. So I don't know if he saw everything coming, because that everybody goes through that desperation type of thing where, okay, I better get right with God, or let me start acting like I'm a saint.
And you know what? You're probably right. But see, this is what I keep telling people. God ain't got time. Right. God not playing with you in 2025. He's snatching the rugs from up under you. Stop playing with God.
Yeah.
Get your shit together for God. Period, soulmates. That's what 2025 is. So no, Diddy, God can see right through that.
Indeed.
Some people probably believe that in media. I don't know if the society or real world believe that ish, but I bet you God didn't, and that's why he's sitting where he is. You're not going to go run and hide behind God anymore. We're not doing that anymore, soulmates.
When I saw that, he was on some award show. As soon as he started talking about that, I was like, oh, he in trouble.
Here we go.
Like something,
right?
Something's
not right.
Everybody
want to run to church.
Something's not right.
See, and then this is how the perpetrators always get protected. That story is over. And I'm proud of the victims for rising. We're not victims anymore. That's why I'm speaking up. That's why Cassie is speaking up. Right. And more people are speaking up. Because it's time, and there's no disrespect to the black man, the white man, and the other man. It's just about right and wrong. Because that man he has 4 daughters. He has a mother. Imagine if somebody was doing those things to his daughters. How would he feel? Think about that, soulmates. Ask yourself, kings that are trying to defend him and saying she's wrong. If that was your daughter, if that was your sister, how would you feel? Put yourself in their space. Have some empathy.
Right. Or people saying that she knew what she was getting into, or she volunteered to participate and all that. But the thing is, what people don't understand is that if you're being coerced, if you're being abused,
when you are being manipulated, when you're being abused, it starts mentally. They manipulate your mind. And then when you become codependent, they make you feel like you can't live without them.
Right, you can't
get away. You become so caught up in it. You're like, I can't do anything without this person. I can't leave. I'm stuck and I don't know what to do. So I have to put up with this.
Right. So we shouldn't be saying, oh,
so stop judging her and have sympathy. Right.
Willingly doing whatever.
She was a victim at that time because she didn't see her own strength and power to know that she deserved more. And she didn't have to put up with that.
Right.
But that's what we don't know. And a lot of times those that are in those situations, I myself felt the same way. And then you get so crazy, like the way that they play the game, they will have you confused, thinking that you was wrong and you wasn't there for them.
Okay.
So let's stop judging and get curious. Why would a young lady put herself in that situation? Why would she put up with that? And just because she went along with it does not mean she was okay with it. Because emotional manipulation does mean that, yeah, I don't know how to say yes or no. I'm not comfortable because I don't feel emotionally safe. Or people don't want to talk about that.
Or what about if you are willing, but then you change your mind?
And you can change your mind.
Do you have a right to change your mind
Absolutely.
And say, I don't want to do this anymore?
Maybe she don't want to have no more freak offs. Maybe she's tired of freak offs. She has the right to say that.
But see, what we make a mistake at in doing in social media, we always like to say, well, you was doing it anyway and blah, blah, blah. And then, well, if you was doing it then, why are you mad now?
Because people heal, grow, and evolve.
We don't give people the chance to change.
To change.
Or to grow or to just have a new idea. We don't give people that chance. And it's always, you was doing it now, don't be mad now.
That makes sense. And I bet you half these people are the Christians that read the Bible and go to church every Sunday. And the Bible specifically says redemption, forgiveness,
right,
healing.
Right.
Make it make sense.
We got to learn how to just revamp and restructure our mindset, our culture, rethink the way we're doing this social media thing. Because I think we've gone too far with it to where we're so comfortable with criticizing each other and calling each other stupid and blah blah blah. We say so much on social media without thinking how we're actually affecting each other when we speak.
Mm-hmm.
You know, would you have those same conversations with a family member going through the exact same things Cassie's going through, or anybody else? Would you ridicule them the same way? Would you demean them the same way?
And
or are you going to be somewhat compassionate? Are you going to have some empathy?
It's really disgusting, Gus, because let me just say, if the tables was reversed and she was a woman and it was a man, would it be the same thing? Would they be victimizing him the way that they're victimizing her, saying that she was going along with it? I feel like it's a double standard for the.
You know what you mean? The other way around.
Right. Yeah, like, I feel like they wouldn't be doing him like that, the way that they're doing her. They wouldn't be treating her that way.
No.
It's not fair. And I'm just trying to understand why. And I think it has a lot to do with, like I said, it's the fact that people don't want to be accountable, because if Diddy is bipolar, all the money you got, you couldn't get something to get, you can get a prescription drug to balance this out by now.
This is the first we ever heard of that, but
my point, which makes me go deeper, because this is deeper than that, because this makes me also wonder, what's his problem? Because see, he's a victim too. Because for you to even be able to hurt somebody like that, that means you are a very hurt individual yourself. Because hurt people hurt people. So who hurt you to the point that you thought it was okay to inflict that type of pain on another person? That says a lot about him. And to be honest, there are a lot of men out here like that, because a lot of men have mommy wounds, meaning the relationship with their moms are not balanced and rooted in love and solid and emotionally stable. So when you don't have a good situation with your mama, you don't know how to treat women. You don't know how to respect the divine feminine, because you don't even know how to respect the woman that brought you into this world. And I've seen men like that, or the man who was in a codependent relationship with his mom.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't get to the deeper rooted issue, because it's a spiritual thing above anything else. Heal that mommy wound, the wounded ego, the wounded masculine energy, then work on your bipolar disorder. But be accountable above anything else. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And if he could have been man enough to just say, I was wrong for what I did, he could probably be done with all of this by now, and probably wouldn't even be that bad. Because if you could take accountability and just own up and say you're guilty, take a plea, it wouldn't even be this big of a deal. But you still don't want to man up and be honest.
I mean, yeah, he's pleading not guilty, but remember, didn't he make a video crying and complain, talking about he's sorry, or he's didn't he do a
did he?
I think he did do a video.
I missed that.
I think he did an apology at some point, like a couple years ago. Like, that wasn't me. I'm not really that type of person.
See, here's the thing. We already knew something wasn't right with them, even with his ex, Kim Porter.
Oh, it was
that. I remember that.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And that's the thing.
So that's yet another case.
Think about it. He's had a lot of women in his lifetime. We can go all the way back to J-Lo. Think about
so it's not just Cassie. It's not.
It's not. And he knew the ones that he could do that with. And Kim Porter, God rest her soul, she's not here to speak her truth. But people close to her have said a lot.
So yeah, he did the apology on.
My point.
I'm not that type of man.
And that's what I'm saying. Chickens coming home to roost. God says, sit down. You're gonna pay for all of that. You are not gonna get away with it. We're gonna snatch all this money and this power and this fame. Because just like that, it was gone. Stop playing with God. Stop taking advantage of people. Stop manipulating your power and your money for bad things. That's not how it works. And this is not how we will continue to live. This is why I've been saying what I've been saying. Soulmates, we have to get in alignment, get in our truth of why we're here. We're not just here to make money and take over and be the all-powerful ones in charge and have all the control. We're here to help each other build and grow, to live in alignment.
Why can't we just get back to basics? Just get back to love.
And that's what we are.
Can't you be rich and love?
Because why can't you? But that's what happens when you don't know love and you come from unhealed places.
Right.
Because rich people can be rich all day long and be the most unhappiest people on the inside.
Absolutely.
Because when you are not right within, there's nothing on the external is going to fulfill that. And I think that's probably a lesson Cassie had to learn after all of this. I think she had to realize that. And I'm grateful that she made it out alive because that's tragic. Think about how many young ladies or young men that are in her shoes, that have been in her shoes, that don't get out of that have been in
Right.
my shoes.
Right.
That's how people get trafficked. That's how the narcissists and manipulators get these young girls to basically trust them so that then they can traffic them.
Right.
Who protects the black woman? I'm just saying. We just never ever respect us enough. It's okay for them to do it to us. Right. But I bet you if Cassie was a Caucasian woman, I bet you the white man wouldn't be disrespecting her the way the black man is disrespecting her. See what I'm saying? They don't do their kind like that. Yet we do each other like that. I don't know if Cassie black, white, or another, but at the end of the day, I feel like she's more us than Caucasian. Yeah. But regardless, I bet you if she was white, the white man wouldn't be doing her like that.
Either way, I think we just need to take responsibility for who we are. Like I'm quick to say, let them do what they do over there, but let's take care of us.
And that's my point. Right. So take care of us. So stop not taking care of us.
Exactly. And I think it's so unfortunate that we're concentrating on Cassie right now because she's such a small part of a bigger issue. Right, of his trials. Like these trials are gonna go on for weeks and months probably. And there's other things that's gonna come up. It's not all about just Cassie. So for us to be on social media,
this is racketeering.
Right, racketeering, drugs,
federal, yes,
prostitution.
This is what the mafia was getting charged with. This is serious. Right. You know what that means when it's a RICO. Oh, come on.
Transportation of people over state lines. Right. Absolutely. There's a lot going on with this.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't even be arguing about Cassie, whether she deserved it or was part of it. We shouldn't be talking about that because there's so much at stake here. We know we're dealing with a narcissist. We're dealing with an evil person. So skip all that Cassie stuff and just stop your praise of a person that's...
It's not that, because why are we praising him? It's about right and wrong, and nothing justifies it. Nothing justifies what he did. Nothing justifies it. And I was talking to somebody earlier today, and they said all the trial is really about is the sexual stuff, the jump off, the freak off, all of that. I don't know, because I haven't been watching it.
No.
But maybe that's the first day or two. I don't know.
Oh, that's just because she's been on a witness stand. That's all. But
that was them.
It's going to go on to other things. Right. Yeah.
But for them to claim the bipolar, the mental health card.
Yeah, the defense.
Now let's stop. Let's stop. We're not going to do that in Mental Health Awareness Month, because there are people out here struggling with their bipolar disorder, going up and down, day in and day out, trying to do the best that they can, and he's playing. Don't do that. Let's not play that card, please, because then this is why we don't even respect mental health like we should, because now we're going to play that card. But guess what? That ain't going to fly, because you had what's his name, Vincent the Chin Gigante. He tried to play that card from the mafia. They weren't going for him either, so that doesn't work. So you can miss them with that too, Mr. Combs.
Man,
it's just interesting, really.
It's beyond interesting,
because this is not the end. This will continue to happen. He won't be the only celebrity that will eventually go through this. There will be more.
Oh, there's going to be a whole lot more.
It is, because
he's just taking the hit right now for everybody else, but everybody can't hide.
They can't. The best thing they can do is just come forward and just be honest. Be real about it. Get ahead of your story now. That's the best thing you can do.
Right.
And just be honest about it. This is the opportunity. And see, that's the thing about God. God is so wonderful. Because God gives you the opportunity to be honest, to take accountability, to repent, to ask for forgiveness, and to actually change. The problem is half of them don't change. Like the OJs.
But you're not going to change if you don't admit that you're wrong first, right?
You can't be accountable.
You keep running talking about you're not guilty. See, that makes you keep lying. That keeps you in your cycle of dishonesty.
Exactly.
Tell that first bit of truth. Just admit that you're wrong.
Just admit that you're wrong. Admit that you're wrong. But then I often wonder, though, people in that position, do they see themselves? Because narcissists, they don't have empathy. They always think it's about them. They always think the other person has harmed them.
thinking about their image, how they're going to look.
Right.
Even if they're wrong, they know they're wrong, but at the end, they still just concerned about how they're going to look in the end.
Right. So I wonder, do they understand the severity? Will they ever take accountability?
Because how dare you expose me?
Exactly. Do they understand that they are wrong and it's not the other individual? That's a serious mental condition. If you can't even see your wrongs, then what's the point? Why are we doing this? We can't even talk sense into you. So why waste the breath? Why waste the energy? Why are we even going through this trial if the man still ain't gonna learn a lesson? For justice.
Well, if things go the way they probably will go, he's gonna be in jail for the rest of his life. He is. Like the rest of his life, right? So that's
that part.
It's a wrap.
See? And I wonder what he's sitting and thinking every night when he's sitting in that cell. Because at this point, what can you do but sit in it? When I say spirit gonna shut you down, you're gonna sit down. You are not gonna outrun yourself. So now, Diddy, you gotta sit in everything that you did. Look back on your 55 years on this earth. What have you accomplished? What good things have you done? What real good things have you done for people?
Well, so for people, what has he done for people? The thing is, he has had a life where he can say he did a lot for himself. He feels accomplished.
Mm-hmm, I know.
And that's what helps a person like him be okay with what they do. Mm. He's accomplished. Mm. You're a billionaire, you know what I'm saying? People,
yeah, them billions don't matter now
right.
In jail.
We don't wear Sean John no more, but somewhere in France they are, in England, you know what I'm saying? In Italy they
ain't gonna wear it either.
Right, but somewhere people still wearing Sean John. This stuff still costs a lot. But my point is, he's accomplished, but just for the wrong reasons. Like he doesn't really have the grounding of being a human, a good natured human.
A good human. What have you done for other people, for humanity, for the community? You're right. That's why I'm saying that, because what have I always said? On Judgment Day, God don't care how much money you have, how much you accomplish, how many artists you signed. Not if you was taking their money from them. Not if you was trying to. Never mind. I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to open up that can of worms. Right. At the end of the day, what goes around comes around. You cannot get away with anything. And 2025 is the year of reckoning. Yes.
It's coming down.
It's coming down. And for anybody that's ever been in a state of feeling like you couldn't get out of a situation where you were powerless, please know that you're never alone. You're never powerless. Even if you are someone who feels like you don't have a plan B, because see, that's the other thing. Right. When you are financially dependent on someone too, you really feel like you don't have a choice, because your livelihood depends on that person. Because I felt that way. Okay. I had to remember who the F I was. Like, girl, what? You know you have many skills. You're very talented. You can get money. But
you can find a way.
It was the dream that I felt like I was missing out on, because this person promised me these dreams. See, a narcissist will sell you a dream. They'll give you this fairy tale lifestyle story, especially if they got money.
Right.
So Cassie, like, absolutely, this is wonderful, but I don't like this, but I'm going to go along with it, even though it's killing me on the inside. Because don't think that girl enjoyed this. No, just because you see the pictures of them on the red carpet. Don't think she happy. See, that's the problem. Everybody wants to judge the book on the outside. Let's stop. I can tell you that girl ain't happy. I can tell you what she was feeling, because I felt it.
So now you know me, I'm all about solutions. I like to hear the problems. I like to hear the solution too. What do you suggest to women right now who maybe they're not in a situation yet where they're attached to someone, we're not codependent yet, but what do you say to the woman ahead of time? How do you prepare women before they get there to handle it? Like, what's your advice?
I'm not sure I understand your question, but what I can advise a woman is to look out for certain signs. If a person is a narcissist or if they are abusive, there are certain things that you should look out for. First and foremost, listen to your intuition. A woman, we know, our spirit will tell us if something's not right. And for me, I know I was ignoring it. But if you can tell if a person is saying one thing and their actions are doing something else, That's a clue, number one. And number two, if their stories are consistently changing, they say they're going to do one thing and then they don't follow up, and that becomes a pattern. Or if they say, I'm going to do something for you if you do this, the tit for tat thing, or they give you something like a gift and then they expect you to give them sex or something along those lines in return. Okay. That's how you know that you're in one of those situations. If it's not a genuine reciprocal situation, then no, it's not a healthy dynamic.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Like, how do you prepare somebody ahead of time for that situation?
You should just start discernment above anything else. Listen to your body as well. Your body will tell you. You can be around people and your body will tell you. You'll start feeling pains and certain twinges, and it's like, no, this because I had that happen and I didn't understand. Right. And it's like, this person is not healthy for me. Get away.
And I would say, just to the best of your ability, don't give anyone total control of what happens to you. Like, always have some type of control of where you're going in life. Don't be out there to where you can't survive if somebody else doesn't have their hand in your life.
You definitely want to make sure you have some form of stability. Have some kind of backup plan, a plan B. About that, I would say you want to make sure you have something saved to the side, something where you always, or somebody that you know you can call on just in case. Have an emergency plan. And reach out for help. Even if you don't have that, there are so many support lines. I'll even put them in the description. Crisis Center, domestic violence lines, the 988 number. There's so many resources. So amazing. Never feel alone. Never feel isolated. And never be afraid of speaking your truth. Your truth is your divine gift, a voice. Your life is a gift. So you have to love you enough to know that you deserve more. You are worth more than somebody giving you some money here and there, buying you expensive gifts, and then 5 minutes later they're punching you or spitting you in your face and making you feel less than, or kicking you. That's not love. And if they try to make you feel like that's love, because people in those positions do feel like that's love. When you sing that, and when it's a trauma bond that is so strong like that, they think that that's normal. So for that person that's still in it, that thinks that that's okay, what would you tell your child or your best friend if they were in that situation? Would you allow them to stay in that situation? Because most often than not, we'll tell somebody else what to do before we ourselves actually do it. So that's why I always tell people, think about how you would treat somebody that was close to you if they were in that position. Right.
And get yourself connected with God. Like, talk to your higher self. Talk to the God of your heart. And know who you are. Know who you're expected to be. Definitely. Based on your own purpose in life.
Gotta stay pray. That's all I did was pray. All I could do was pray. Yeah. Because I'm like, God, get me out of this.
Accept the guidance.
Yes. Right. And accept the guidance. And don't be afraid of starting over. Be willing to walk away.
Good one.
Walk away from it all. Because I said I was done. I will be homeless before I allow a man to give me some money because he think he can control me. And I walked away, and I'm okay. So know that if you choose you, please know God got a plan. You got to know you want more.
And this is for men too, not just women.
And it's not just for women.
Guys too.
Because there are men, kings. Don't be embarrassed. If you're in a domestic violence relationship, king, you deserve more. You know you don't have to put up with that.
Right. You got to love yourself, and you might have to let that woman go. Let her go.
It's not cheaper to keep her.
Right.
If it's costing you your peace, let it go. Because you can get that stuff back. Money is replaceable.
Yeah.
Buy another house and a car.
Yes.
If you got it before, you can get it again. But that peace of mind, your heart and your soul and your body.
You'll lose so many years of your life trying to hold on to something that's not good for you.
Carrying pain that was never yours to hold in the first place. And here's one thing for anybody that is trying to finally move forward. And I know I have to say this to myself, because I really wanted this person to apologize for what they did, but I have to realize that
not happening.
I don't need that apology to continue to do my healing. And the minute I reclaimed that back, I was good. So for anybody that's waiting on that apology, move on. You don't need that apology for your healing. You deserve that healing for yourself. And please believe God got it. Because what goes around comes around. Ain't that right, Diddy? So,
and as soon as you let go of what you have, that's when
something
God can give you something better. You can't
always.
you can't accept something and hold on to something at the same time. You got to let it go. Let your hand be open for the next thing that comes.
Don't always accept the first thing that comes.
Ooh,
Wait a little bit longer.
there
Something
you
better.
go. There you
Something
go.
better is probably coming along. So be patient. And give yourself permission to stop over explaining everything to people about your pain and your trauma and your harm. And if people can't accept your truth, then oh well. That's their problem, not yours, soulmates. Because speaking your truth is the most powerful thing that you can do.
Absolutely.
That's what healing out loud looks like. And if this conversation hit home for you, soulmates, please reach out. You can always DM me word release if you want to join my private group that I'm creating for those that are healing after narcissistic relationships, codependent relationships, those that are ready to create a plan for what the next steps will look like. Because I know how hard and how difficult that can be. So allow me to walk this space with you because soulmates, we are not alone in this.
Did we make it make sense?
Make it make sense, soulmates. Please make sure you guys subscribe, like, share, comment, and continue supporting us. And make sure you all buy Healing Out Loud if you haven't bought it already. So stay tuned, soulmates, to the next episode. Peace out. Bye. Gotta have some closing music.